Hello party people, today we're taking a look at this older HGUC kit. This is the Schuzrum Dias, a variation of the Rick Dias that has basically a new ball cap on his head and a new set of gray binders there on his back, and so it's pretty cool. I really like the backpack on this. I built this up live on YouTube and Twitch, so if you missed watching that live, you can go back and watch that and see the whole building process. Though it's an old HGUC kit, so you pretty much can guess how it goes. The articulation, not great. Seam lines kind of everywhere, and the details hit and miss. I mean, it's got some areas where the detail's kind of nice, but overall it's not going to be obviously as nice as the newer higher grade HGUC kits that we've been getting out recently. So all that said, it does make for some cool kit bash fodder, I will say, with those cool parts, especially the binders on the backpack. Of course, those are going to be kind of like the main draw of this kit. And just a reminder that this kit, while it did come out in 2009, the original Rick Dias kit, which is the majority of this kit really, came out in 2002, so it's going pretty old now at this point. But let's get into it and see what the kit is all about, shall we? So first off, what you get included with the kit, you get this set of marking stickers here. They're all in white, so maybe going to be a little bit hard to see against this very light background. Basically, you just got some different logos on there. Amuro's logo, Xeon logo, Carabos logo, HGUC, EFSF, etc. in large and small sizes. You get the beam saber with the green beam effect part. There's nowhere to store this round on the kit when not in use, so it's either just in the hand or off to the side. You have a different option for the head. This would be the original head style, I believe, and this is the new one for this kit that has a much longer bill out the front of that. But you can choose which one you want to use if you prefer the shorter one. I do prefer the longer one. I think it looks a little bit more cool. And then we got is clay bazooka. Now during the live stream I did take a look at comparing this to the clay bazooka that is included with some of the newer kits like the HGUC DJ and the Hyakushiki Revive kit. And it's almost exactly the same. It's definitely a newer mold though, but the detail is almost identical. The new one is a little bit thicker as well. This one's quite thin, but ultimately the design is almost the same. Also the new version has a movable handle. This one, the handle doesn't move on it at all, and nothing in terms of any stickers or anything for this. And I should mention that there's no foil stickers on this kit anywhere at all. So, you know, take it or leave it, whether that's good or bad for you. But here on the back, then we also have is beam pistols. These are stored here on the backpack. You can just pull those out like that. Also, not really a big fan of the design of these. They're kind of silly, derpy, like 80s style looking. But hey, those are included there on the backpack, and they plug onto this peg there in the center of the backpack, which is actually a polycap sticking out of there. So the fact they plug onto a polycap is also kind of, I don't know about that, but they're held in there solid enough, so that's all good. And also about the clay bazooka, this can also be clipped onto the backpack here. That just plugs into there, kind of between the center of the backpack and the binder here, so you can store all the weapons except for the beam saber handle here on the backpack, which is pretty cool. Now let's take a look at the articulation. The head doesn't move up and down at all, but you can open up this bit here on the top. So that opens up like that. Pretty cool. You have that really nice, bright, clear green part there for the kind of mono eye camera on there. It's a little bit kind of derpy in terms of the design. Personally, I don't really like it, but it does look really nice here on the kit. If you turn the head, you can turn that like so, but again, no up and down movement for that at all. It's just only turning. For our shoulder articulation, you can move that forward and back, and obviously going to be a big seam line in here. Pretty much any part of armor, there's going to be a seam line on it, but again, the shoulder only going to move forward and back so much. Shoulder armor itself, though, you can move up and down on its own, and this flap here on the side will move a little bit there as well. So even though you can get the shoulder armor up and pretty far out of the way, you can only get the arm up to 90 degrees. That's just the extent of that. And then you have some rotation here at the top of the arm and just a single joint in the elbow to give you just right about 90 degrees for your elbow joint there. But some pretty nice detail just in the way of the tubing there at the elbow joint and here in the forearms. It does look pretty cool. The big block hands though are also just only going to be able to really turn basically. They're on a ball joint, but you're not going to be able to move them really around too much just because of the shape of them. Here at the stomach section, as you might imagine, it's basically just a little bit of rotation there, nothing really too much else in terms of movement there to speak of. The front skirts will move up and down on their own, that's well enough. The side skirts don't really move at all, they're just kind of basically fixed there. The back skirt is also new, so I'm going to remove one of the binders so you guys can see that a little bit better, but you have the nice color separation in the way of those three little gray parts up inside there for little thruster bells up inside this cool back skirt, so that looks pretty nice. Up underneath the kit, just a quick note that there's nowhere to plug this onto an action base, so you can either just drill a hole up into there, or you need to use the pronged adapter to put up in for that. Nothing else moves here on the backpack though. It's pretty much just this structure to hold the binders, and those can just basically be rotated, but there's not really much room for them to move anywhere basically. They're just kind of stuck there. On the outside surface, there's really not going to be a whole lot of detail. Obviously, it's going to be a big seam going all the way down the edge of this as well. Up in the end, you got some nice detail in there, and then on the inside, some nice detail, but you are definitely going to have to do some masking to bring out some of these details, as they're supposed to be like gray for all these little bits here if you want to make it color accurate anyway. As for the hips, you're only going to be able to bring the legs out to about there, but if you want to have it standing like that, you're not going to be able to anyway, because the ankles are not really going to have much side-to-side movement at all. You can move them just a little bit side to side, but you're definitely not going to be able to get any sort of flat stance, anything other than right about like this in terms of the spread there at the legs. So not really going to be able to get a really like wide dynamic stance out of this. So you're just going to have to keep it up on an action base or something if you want to have the legs spread out even to that little bit that they do move. But you can bring the leg up to kind of about 90 degrees there, and just about less than a 90-degree bend there at the knees, so not going to be too much bend. But again, some cool detail here on the back with those pipes, and then up underneath the side we got some cool detail with the thruster bells up underneath his bell bottoms there at the feet, so not too bad. In terms of the forward and back movement of the ankle, forward to there and back to there is like not a lot, but it's not that bad. We do have some nice detail up underneath the feet though, so if you want to paint that up, you have some nice opportunities there. And then for a size comparison, here it is compared with the RX-78-2, so you can see it is going to be a pretty sizable mobile suit, just in terms of its overall bulk. Not really too much taller than the Gundam here, but obviously the binders are going to be extending up a little ways. And so really not a whole lot much else to say about this kit. I mean, as you can see, the articulation is kind of lacking. One other thing that I did forget to point out in the unboxing, because I actually didn't notice it at the time, but there's a couple parts of this that are actually kind of a little bit softer rubber. So like those hosing parts that are going across the top of the chest there, as well as the trigger fingers, are molded in a little bit softer plastic. It's not quite like as soft as polycap material, but it's kind of near in between there anyway, so that just be a little bit more careful when you're sanding and painting those parts. And that is one thing I did forget to mention when we were going through the articulation. The trigger finger does move, which is kind of interesting. Otherwise you don't have any other hand options for this, open hands or closed fists or anything like that. That would, I think, have been a nice addition to this kit, to have maybe a single open hand and a single closed fist or something like that, just to give you a little bit more posing options. Although the articulation is so lacking, there's not really going to be a whole lot that you can do in the way of posing this kit just straight out of the box without doing any modification to it, of course. But that said, you do have a pretty good array of weapons included with this, between the beam saber, the 2 beam pistols, and the clay bazooka. You have some nice options for posing this. It's much better than if it were to say just come with one clay bazooka or something and that's it. So that's pretty cool. And again, like I said at the very start of the review, I think the big draw of this is of course going to be the binders there on its backpack. Those are really cool, just interesting parts. So whether you want to get this kit just because you love those parts on this kit, or you want to use them on a different kit, I think this kit is relatively cheap. Coming in at the list price of 1700 yen, if you're able to get this for under 20 bucks, then it's really not too bad if you know what you're getting yourself into. Like I said, there's a lot of seam lines all over the kit, not really much in the way of articulation, and the details, yeah, again, hit or miss. But that said, if you're able to put in the work and you're a fan of the design, it's really not that bad. You know, painting it really shouldn't be too big of a deal. The simplicity of these old high grades is that it is kind of easy to modify and paint them just because they're so simple. Everything's just kind of hollow. So if you want to kit bash or modify or just like get rid of seams in order to paint these kits, they're definitely a little bit easier to paint than some of the more complex high grades, or of course other grades, real grade, master grade, and so on. So that is one nice thing about them. So if you wanted to get into painting or something and you need a good like practice kit or something like that, one of these kits is a good one to get, and so that you can practice seam line removal and just like basic just like sanding and painting prep work, and then the actual painting itself and all of that. So that is what I have to say about this kit, and there's not really a whole lot much else to say about it. So if you guys do have any other further questions or comments, of course, feel free to leave those down below. And with that, guys, I'll see you in the next review. Bye bye!
Thanks for watching! See you next time!